Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to the lecture series on software engineering. Subject code is BCS 601. Myself Rekha Baghel, Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department, Akgec Engineering College, Ghaziabad. The topic of today's lecture is software configuration management. So in this lecture, we will discuss about in detail about the software configuration management. So basically, when any software is developed for any customer, then after some time, there is a need for the change in the software due to the changing requirements of the customer. So whole this process of changing, make the changes in the software is done with the help of software configuration management. So we can say the software configuration management controls the process of software development and maintenance. But the configuration management is different in both development and maintenance phases of the life cycle due to the environment, due to the different environment of both the phases. So any software we can develop with the help of these phases. So these are the different phases by which we can develop any software. So first phase is planning and specifications. In this phase, we plan for particular software and the specifications required for developing the particular software. After that, we analyze and design the requirements of the customer. Next, after analyzing the requirements and developing the designs for the requirements, we move to the next phase, that is a implementation phase. So this phase is related to the developing the codes for the software. Next, now we will apply different types of tests to validate whether the software is producing the correct results or not, or whether the software is fulfilling the requirements of the customer or not. Next phase, after testing the software is released, and after releasing the software comes into the phase of maintenance. So maintenance is the phase which deals with correcting the errors or faults occurred during the use of the software. So this is the process of development of the software. So software configuration management have the participation among these different phases. So software configuration management deals with these phases, and also software configuration management have the activation with the maintenance phase also. So basically, when we talk about the software configuration management, so different activities are performed. So we can categorize these activities into 4 broad categories. So first activity is for applying the changes into the software. The first activity is to find out what are the components on which we want to make the changes. So first is identification of the components and the changes that we want to done. Next one is the control of the way by which the changes are made, how we can audit the changes, and fourth and last activity is status accounting, recording and documenting all the activities that take place. We need to mention, we need to store all the details about the activities which are done for applying the changes. So these are the 4 activities for configuration management. Configuration management. So before starting the changes into the software, we must have the following documents. So we need to, all the team related to the software configuration management have the idea about the project plan, software requirement specification document, software design description document, source code listing, test plan procedures and test cases, and user manuals. So, software configuration management team have done the thorough study of these project plans, SRS, software design descriptions, source code, and user manual and test plan, so that he or she can easily apply the changes into the software. If the software configuration management team don't have the idea about the project plan, software requirement specification, then it can be harmful for the software, so that changes the team applied cannot be documented well. So, when we apply the changes into the software, so these changes can produce the software in two types. So, first version, the first is revisions or replace, and second is variations. When we apply the changes in large basis, then the software comes under the category of variations. And if we apply the minute changes into the code, into the software, then it comes under the category of revisions. For example, any software, the current version of the software is 1.1. Okay, and this is the version. And if we apply some changes into this software, minute changes into this software, then the next version is 1.1.1. So, this is the revisions. And if we apply the large number of changes into the software, then the next version of this code comes under this 1.2. So, it comes under the variations. So, these versions are controlled by a tool that is known as a version control tool. The version control tool is the first stage towards being able to manage multiple versions. So, we have a software and we have produced many versions of that particular software. So, it is necessary to store all the details of all the versions separately, so that if we need to change, if we need to figure out some information from the particular versions, so we can easily fetch. So, once the software configuration management take place, a detailed record of every version of the software must be kept. This comprises the nature of the source code. We need to we need to save all the source code component and its variations and revisions. The versions of various compilers and linkers used are also need to save. The name of the software staff who constructed the components, the date and the time at which it was constructed, it also need to save. So, these are so basically we can say a version are the numerical or alphanumerical identifiers assigned to different releases or the iterations of the software product. Change control process. So, change control process comes, the change control process works when these changes, when these changes that are required to be done on particular softwares comes in the form of the change request form. So, after getting the change request form, the change control process comes into the picture. The change request form have this type of template. The change request forms contains these informations like project ID, change requester with date, requested change with date, change analyzer, components affected, associated components, estimated change cost, change priority, change assessment, change implementation, change implementer, and date submitted to the quality and analyst, date submitted to the change management. So this is the template for change request form. So this change request form, when we apply the changes into the software, it contains various information. First is documentation. So this software documentation is the written record of the facts about a software system recorded with the intent to convey purpose, content and clarity. So user documentation. Next is user documentation. User documentations contains this type of information. System overview provides general description of the system's function. Installation guide describes how to set up the system. Beginner's guide provides simple explanation of how to start using the system. Reference guide provides in-depth description of each system facility and how it can be used. Enhancement booklet contains a summary of new features. Quick reference card serves as a factual lookup, and the system administration provides information on services such as networking, security and upgrading. So after documentation and user documentation, we will move to the next documentation, that is a system documentation. So basically system documentation refers to the documentation those containing all the facets of the system, including analysis, specification, design, implementation, testing, security, error diagnosis and recovery. So this system documentation contains these type of documents like system rationals, describe the objective of the entire system. SRS provides information on the exact requirements of the system as agreed between user and developers. Specified design. So this specification or design provides the description of the how system requirements are implemented, how the system is decomposed into set of interacting program units, the function of each program unit. So one more thing that if we are saying that change this configuration, software configuration management is a process by which we can apply the changes into the software. So we can consider it is a separate unit apart from the different units like drivers and different programs unit. So we are saying that this is the special unit which have the particular functionality, so that if we apply any changes into the software, this particular software configuration unit comes into the picture. So by using this software configuration unit, we can apply the changes. And if we want to track when we have applied these changes, this change can affect which other these particular change can affect other functionalities. We can easily track all these. So software configuration management is an important activity. So next one is in this systems documentation. Next one is implementation. Implementation is provides description of how the detailed system design is expressed in some formal languages. means in implementation we develop the software, we develop the source code in different languages. So, program actions in the form of inter-program comments. Next one is system test plan. So, a system test plan provides the description of how program units are tested individually and how the whole system is tested after the integration. Next is acceptance test plan. Acceptance test plan describe the test that the software must pass before users accept it. Data dictionaries. So, data dictionaries description of all terms that relate to the software system in question. So, this for developing any software, we use this process. So, there are different types of models we can use for developing particular software, but this is the basic phases that we need for developing particular software. So, if any change is requested by the customer, then first step that we need to do is checking the requirements in which the customer want to make these changes. So, requirements, and after that we find out changing in requirement 1 can affect all other requirements or not. And if the changing in requirement 1 can affect the other requirements, then we also find out how we can manage this change. So, after following the other requirements and applying the particular change also in other requirements and applying the final change into the software, we will do the regression testing. So, this purpose of regression testing is to find out what is the impact of applying these changes into the software, and we compare the state of the software before and after applying the changes. If the performance of the system or a performance of the software degrades, then we can deny this change. So, one more important point is we cannot directly apply the change. Before applying the change, we must analyze which type of change is requested by the customer, and we identify the impact of applying that particular change onto the software, performance of the software. So, after analyzing all these points, we can approve the software configuration management team approve the changes, and correspondingly these changes are done by the team. So, this is all about software configuration management. In next lecture, we will learn something other topics related to the software engineering. Thank you.